Good evening and welcome to tonight's meeting of the Nashua Board of Education's Human Resources Committee at the Nashua High School North Boardroom. It is 5:01 and it is April 21st, and I'm calling this meeting to order. Can we begin with a roll call?
It's a big roll call today. Ms. Giglio?
Here.
I am filling in, I could have written this down before we started. I am here, and Mr. Johnson.
Okay. Are you here as Heather?
Here.
He's on the committee.
Oh, right. Okay, so you're not here as anybody then, right?
I don't have to be anymore, but I can still be,
Still want to do the notes?
I can still fill in for Heather as a voting member.
Okay, why don't you do that? That would be nice. Okay. Anyway, so you did the roll call and we need to mention the other people who
Yes,
are
sorry.
here?
Dr. Andrade is here, Dr. Scarpati is here, and Mr. Posca is here.
Okay. Are we waiting for Mr. Bouse or not? He said that he did not have an update for us for tonight's meeting.
No,
I
so he
can
doesn't
speak
have.
to that.
Yep, and then one of our recommendations we had, because we moved the time, will be here at 5:30, not 5 o'clock. So we
okay.
can do his appointment at the full board meeting.
Okay, so we don't have to cover it in this.
We can cover it now, but if we need questions later, he'll be here at 5:30.
Okay, that sounds good. So so Mr. Bouse did not have an update for us, which he usually presents at each meeting. They've been very busy with lots of interviews and hiring, and also he submitted the 9 people who are leaving us for tonight in the meeting, who are leaving us mostly at the end of the year. So let's just look at the personnel recommendations. And there is one addition. Yeah, it's. Okay. To what was printed. I'm looking for a motion to approve them if there are no questions.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Yep.
This might be a quick one.
No, we can grill the candidate, the next candidate for
Yeah, I think we
25
should.
minutes.
I think we should, okay. So we also have administrative recommendations tonight, and I'm going to start with, there's a recommendation to elect Peter Argyropoulos to the position of Assistant Principal at Fairgrounds Middle School at an annual salary of $91,200. And would he like to come up and talk to us? And Dr. Andre, did you have anything to say
Yep,
about
so
him?
if Peter can come up and we can give a quick background on Peter. He's well-known in the district, so we can ask him a few questions. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you.
So Peter, can you give us a little background on your experience and why you want to be the assistant principal at Fairgrounds Middle School?
Absolutely. So like Dr. Andrade had said, Nashua is not a district I'm unfamiliar with. I've started my career in the district and have continued to work here the entire time, starting at Fairgrounds Middle School as a 7th grade science teacher. So if I'd be so fortunate tonight to have the approval of the board, I'd be returning to a school that I have a lot of familiarity with and a system that I have familiarity with, which I think brings some value to it in itself. I've enjoyed, learning and growing throughout the Nashua School District as an educator myself. We are a learning institution, so it's important that we hold ourselves to a high standard of education and learning and continuing that all the time. I know I always talk about how it's really important to me that I want to get a little bit better every day. And just like we tell our students, I want to learn something new every day. So I'd like to bring that to this role and continue to help support the system at Fairgrounds and support Mr. Arbogast and bringing that vision to life of continuing to provide the best possible education for our students and making sure that we're putting them in an environment and setting them up for success going into high school and then, of course, after graduation.
That sounds wonderful. Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
What drew you back to Fairgrounds?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
What drew you back to Fairgrounds?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think when we think back and draw back to some of my experience, of course, at Fairgrounds, like I mentioned, having a lot of familiarity with the system is something that I thought was appealing because I felt like it gave me a unique opportunity to return to a situation where I'd be able to really hit the ground running and continue to help a lot of the good things that are already happening there, bring them to the next level. Really working with the teachers, the students, and the families to make sure, again, we're trying to enhance everything that we're doing and try to focus on really drilling down on those small details that result in big outcomes for our kids. And of course, having my background in secondary, whether that be my own personal and professional learning, and then my experience, I thought it would lend itself well to this specific role.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Dr. Andre?
Yeah, just if I can add, we had a similar conversation in the change, and if Peter, if you could just highlight on just being at the elementary level for a year and the level of rigor in the classrooms, like you stretched for the last year of like getting to know CKLA curriculum, third grade math standards, science standards. Again, I think you were able to see all the work happening in our K through 5 classrooms. And how does that position you, again, to have that break from middle school for a year, see what's going on K through 5, and how does that lead your conversations at the middle school, especially around raising the expectations in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade instruction?
Yeah, absolutely. So thinking about, that exact scenario. So going into elementary and coming from that secondary background, it was really eye-opening to see a lot of the amazing work that's happening at the elementary school level. And even though sometimes we talk about those things or we learn about those things or we hear about them through professional development opportunities, it's another thing to talk about them than it is to be on the ground, boots on the ground, learning and living those experiences every single day. So it was really a great experience for me, learning about the academic piece, thinking about the standards, the level of rigor that our students come from at the elementary school level. We have extremely high standards for the kids when it comes to our K through 5 students, and then we expect that to continue on throughout our system. It's also valuable to go to, even though the Nashua School District we think of as the large whole system, those small parts, New Searles being a different one than I had been in, and learning some of the different things that, you feel like can come from one place and be applicable in another that really would just help drive that instruction forward. The standards piece, thinking about all the things that we're doing at the elementary level when it comes to collecting data, analyzing that data, looking at the programs that we've put into place over the last several years, starting from the board that have been approved and then put into our schools that are really driving that data forward. And we're seeing growth, and it's slow, but it's steady. And that's what we want to see when we're trying to move a system. We can't move a whole system overnight. And trying to bring that up now to the secondary level through our middle schools and bringing those experiences there, continuing to bring those high expectations, trying to bring in that data and continue to be data driven and have that data mindset, and then focus on, what our students' needs, where are the gaps, and how can we fill in those gaps to make sure we're setting students up for success.
Thank you. Are there any other questions, Ms. Bishop?
Only because I know if Miss Raymond were here, this would be the question that she would ask. What is your belief system around middle schoolers? And I even hate to call it discipline because I think they're just coming into themselves. But I know that's Heather's big question in regards to what's your idea on blending parent involvement and discipline and classroom management?
Yeah, no matter what level I've been at, whether it was at Fairgrounds Middle School as a teacher, now in elementary school, I'll start with that kind of last piece you mentioned. I always talk about how the relationship between parents, students, and then the teachers in the school is vital to making sure we're getting our students to succeed. We know that all of those parties kind of have the same end goal in mind, where we want to get kids to. We want to set them up for success, but we have to work together and really work on, as a school, going out into the community and building that collaborative effort in order to do those sorts of things. To come back now to your central question about kind of discipline and whatnot, when we think about students, building relationships, it's something you're going to hear me talk about, and I've always talked about, which is extremely key within the school community. So whether that be me with students, me with parents, teachers with students, and really trying to foster those, to get to know students and get to know what their specific needs are. Every student, comes in each day with different lived experiences, and it's really important when we think about that we as teachers very quickly get to know each year what are our specific kids, what our kids' specific needs, what's going to drive those students. So really trying to be proactive, set high expectations, make sure our students are a part of that and the students understand the expectations, and then just making sure, if a student might have a day where they're not meeting our expectation, where you bring them in and we kind of work with that student to make sure we see why wasn't that being met? Is there something going on deeper that we need to address kind of at that deeper level, and then respond to it accordingly. So just making sure we're giving our students what they need every single day to be successful. And when students might need a little bit more support, we provide it to them. And overall, when we think about it from the start, we're being proactive in establishing that culture and climate in the school and those high expectations to have students set up for success.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions before we vote on this candidate? Okay, so I'm looking for a motion
Motion
to,
to
maybe I should
approve.
make it because I have all the information in front of me. Okay, I'll make a motion to elect Peter Argyropoulos to the position of Assistant Principal at Fairgrounds Middle School at an annual salary of $91,200.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Awesome. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
We have a second recommendation tonight that I'll talk about now, although we're not going to act on it until later.
We can vote on it, but if we have any
Okay.
questions, I think we move it to the full
Oh,
committee
okay.
through this subcommittee, and then the candidate will be here a little later, is my
Okay.
understanding. And again, I apologize. I originally told him 5:30,
Yeah.
and then just the miscommunication.
Okay, so we have an administrative recommendation to elect Jason Lonergan to the position of Assistant Principal at Nashua High School South at an annual salary of $109,900. And he won't be here until later. Do you have anything you'd like to say about him?
Yeah,
Dr.
so Jason is not new to administration. If you look in the packet, Jason has been an assistant principal dating back to 2007 in the district, both at Nashua South, and then he was at Pennachuck Middle School as an assistant principal. And then he went to Laconia for a few years, and then he came back to Nashua at North for an assistant principal. Right around COVID, he took a little break and went back to the classroom at Nashua South as a special educator. And now he's feeling like going back into the administration. So that's where you see he's very experienced assistant principal. He knows our system. Great instructional leader, and also very good with our students. So it's nice to have Jason back on the team. I think he took a nice little reprieve from administration, and he's feeling the desire to come back. So I think it'll be a seamless transition for Mr. Richard and his team. So again, I think Jason has a wealth of experience, and it'll be nice to have him back on the administrative team.
Thank you. Okay, so I make a motion to elect Jason Lonergan to the position of Assistant Principal at Nashua High School South at an annual salary of $109,900.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. We'll talk with him later, maybe. If there's nothing else, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I do have one addition.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had said that you didn't have your usual update for tonight, but I'm sorry. Okay, go right ahead.
So I do apologize for rolling in a couple minutes late, and we did have a late resignation add to this. The director of food service gave her resignation, and her last day will be June 27th.
Thank you. We did already approve the personnel recommendations, including that addition.
Oh, you already went over it? Okay,
we
perfect,
We
sorry.
voted on it earlier.
Just wanted to make sure it was said, that's all.
No, that's good. Thank you. So now I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll just say before we adjourn, I just want to say, as Heather would say if she was here, Ms. Raymond would say, that it's always good to see us hiring from within, of people within the system moving up. It's always a good thing to see in our school system. And with that, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.